Hi, this is Champlet 2 on the PlayStation Network. I'm sure by now you've seen several videos on YouTube about how to make the most money in import-export by sourcing only top-range vehicles. I decided to go ahead and make a video of my own to share what I've learned on this subject and how to apply this technique to make even more money with the collections. And just to be clear, this is not a glitch or an exploit of any kind. It's a legitimate strategy that will help you optimize your earnings from the vehicle warehouse. So let's check it out. There are 32 distinct vehicle models that SecuroServ will source for you to import and export from your vehicle warehouse. I've already imported one of each of them, and as you can see, there are 8 rows of 4 vehicles each here in the main menu on the vehicle warehouse computer. These 32 vehicles are grouped into 3 value ranges, and you can filter on the ranges here. There are 10 standard range cars, and they can be exported for a maximum profit of $30,000 each. There are also 10 mid-range cars, and they can be exported for a maximum profit of $50,000 each. Finally, here are the 12 top-range cars with a maximum profit of $80,000 each. The top-range vehicles are the ones you want to exclusively import and export to make the most money. And now I'm going to show you just exactly how to do that. To demonstrate how this works, I exported my top-range Z-Type car. And you can tell I just exported it because I have about 15 minutes left on the cooldown clock where the export button should be. Here you can see now I only have 31 cars in the main menu. I'll scroll through the standard and mid-range models so that you can see I still have 10 of each of them, but I'll only have 11 of the top range cars because I no longer have a Z-Type in my warehouse. Here is the most important tip in this whole video. When you source a vehicle, SecuroServ looks at your warehouse to see which vehicles you currently have so they can source a vehicle for you that you don't currently have. So that means in this example, SecuroServ can only source a Z-Type model for me because that's the only car out of all 32 models that I don't currently have in my warehouse. So now, as I go to my Terabyte to source a vehicle, SecuroServ does give me a top-range Z-Type car with the license plate that reads Kingpin, and I have to import this into the vehicle warehouse. I'm going to use this picture to go find it at the golf club, and I'll grab my Cargobob to pick it up and carry it back. So here's how the technique works. If you import and keep one of each of the 10 standard and 10 mid-range cars, SecuroServ will only source top-range vehicles for you after that because those are the only models you don't already have in your warehouse. But now there is one exception to that rule. After I imported the Z-Type, now I have one of each of all of the 32 models in my warehouse again. I went to source another vehicle, but SecuroServ can't source a model for me that I don't have because I have all 32 of them. They have no choice but to source a duplicate for me, and it could be from any one of the 3 value ranges. So they gave me this Alpha model standard range car. I imported it, and then when I come in and go back to the computer, you'll see I have 11 standard range cars with 2 of them being Alphas. If you have duplicates of any model car but with different license plates, this might mess up the sourcing routine for SecuroServ. Make sure you don't have any duplicates by filtering on the standard and the mid-range cars, and then use sort by name to make sure you're not maybe missing one model, but you might have a duplicate of another one. Export any duplicates that you've got to make sure you get the sourced vehicles that you want. When you're first getting started with a new vehicle warehouse, import cars and do not export any of the standard or mid-range models. Don't worry that much about whether you get damaged because you're not going to sell those anyway. If you do get a top-range car, take really good care of it and export it right after you get it. It'll take a little while to to get all 20 standard and mid-ranges in your warehouse. But I have some videos on my channel with tips and tricks for every import mission, so that might help it go a little bit easier. Check out the links in the description of this video. Once you have those 20 models imported, you'll only get top range cars after that, as long as you keep the 10 standard and mid-ranges in your warehouse. Always export to the specialist dealer for the maximum $80,000 in profit for a top range car, minus damages. You can export one single car every 19 minutes. Hire one friend and you can export 2 cars at a time every 28 minutes. Hire 2 friends and you can export 3 cars at once every 38 minutes. And finally, the most you can export at one time is 4 vehicles if you hire 3 friends, and the wait time is 48 minutes. Having your friends help you with exports means you can make a little more money per hour and do fewer exports overall, but you can still make about $240,000 an hour selling 1 car at a time, all on your own. Once you've mastered that process, you can start thinking about exporting collections. To see the collections, click on the Collection button at the upper right corner. There are only 2 collections that have exclusively top-range vehicles in them. They're this first collection of 3 vehicles, the X80 Proto, the T20, and the Osiris. The other is the very last collection of 2 vehicles, with the Z-Type and the Roosevelt Valor. Don't even worry about getting the right collectible license plate for all these other collections for now. Just work on the top range. You can tell which collectible plates you don't have because they'll be grayed out on this screen, like my T20. Use the technique I've shown you here in this video to get the license plates that you'll need for the collection. Start by getting one of each of all of the 32 models in your warehouse. Then, for example, export this T20 that has the wrong license plate, like the Caramel you see here. The next car you source will definitely be another T20 if that's the only model you don't have. Now, you may not immediately get the Devil license plate that you need, like here in the video, they gave me the Caramel again. But just keep importing and exporting only that one model until you do get the Devil plate, and then keep it. Now, don't bother blowing up the car you're importing just because it's not the license plate you wanted. SecuroServe has a nasty habit of sourcing the same license plate over and over again until you successfully import it. Once you finally get the T20 Devil plate, move on and do the same thing again for the Osiris to get the Sleek plate, and then the X80 Proto to get the Make Bank plate, until you get all 3 of the cars in the collection. Get your friends to help you export them and you'll make a really nice bonus for exporting them as a collection. Notice at the left corner of each of the collections at the bottom, it shows you the amount of the collection bonus. That's the amount that every driver in the organization is paid as a bonus for the collections. Here's a really fun tip that a lot of GTA players probably don't know. Exporting collections gives you a chance to legitimately give money to your friends. You can give an extra bonus to your friends when they help you export a collection by getting out of your car just before you get too close to the yellow delivery dot. Gotta get out of the car, like I'm doing here in the video, and let one of your friends drive it in for you. Now, we didn't have headsets on, so my friend didn't understand I was asking him to drive my car into the container, so I just drove it in myself. However, my other friend with the 3rd car, his internet connection went out and he got disconnected during the export, so I had to go get the T20 he was driving. Since I delivered 2 cars, you'll see I got a $70,000 collection bonus instead of just $35,000 for 1 car. My other friend that delivered the Osiris, he got a $35,000 collection bonus too. So if you have friends who need the money maybe more than you do, hop out and let them deliver the extra car for an extra collection bonus. As the CEO, you still get the full export value for all the cars in the collection. It's just a nice way to say thanks for helping with the sale and it's a totally legitimate way to share a nice chunk of money with another player. The last tip I have for you is just a little important advice. Before you start collecting those 20 standard and mid-range cars in your vehicle warehouse, make sure you're satisfied with your vehicle warehouse location and you're not thinking about moving. If you do decide to move to another vehicle warehouse location later, you'll have to export every single imported car in your warehouse before you can go buy another one. And then you'll have to import them all over again in the new one. So think hard about your location before you do all that work. I have a video on my channel and a link below to show you the best vehicle warehouse location to make money faster, so check that out. And after exporting over 1,600 cars and making almost $150 million just on this primary character in import-export, these are all of the tricks of the trade I've learned about this GTA business. Be sure to check out my videos with the tips and tricks for the import missions. There's a link below in this video's description to a playlist. There's some really helpful hints in there that'll help you save a lot of time and a lot of damage to your vehicles. Thank you so much for watching. A like for my videos and a subscription to my channel are always very greatly appreciated. If you have any questions, leave me a comment here and I'll do the best I can to get back to you as soon as possible. Best of luck filling up your warehouse and raking in the big money. I hope you'll visit my channel again soon. See you next time.